finally can be heard.
That's why they have the voice, because they speak up.
Okay, we're having a conversation about transgender women participating in sports, and I wanted to allow more people to participate. Jordan, I wanted to hear from you.
So I am not a professional athlete. The closest thing I have ever done to anything athletic was I used to do competitive show choir when I was younger. And I don't feel really qualified to make carte blanche statements about whether or not trans women should compete in every kind of sport.
Sometimes there's something I just don't understand. What in the hell does that have to do with anything? A carte blanche statement. You just had to throw that filler in there, didn't you? Oh, climate crisis, climate control. Like, you didn't have to say that. So what? I can't just speak about whatever? Like, you didn't have to throw that in there. And whatever competitive thing that this guy, I'm sorry, that's a guy. Whatever she said, I don't know what in the hell that is, but we're going to look it up. Let's continue.
And I understand that that is kind of, that's a hard pill to swallow. And for me, my first inclination is to approach everything through a lens of inclusivity. But at the same time,
another word of advice, guys, if you're looking to date a woman and she has a bullnose ring in her nose or a septum, please just avoid those kind of people. I don't care if it's a transgender woman, man, regular male, female. It's not classy and it's just not attractive at all. I don't know. I just never found those to be like appealing on people. It's just, to me, it's honestly kind of disgusting, because I think a lot of people I've seen like leave those things in. They're like coughing all day, sneezing, blowing their nose. I mean, you're breathing, and like, you know, when you breathe, like nose hairs are supposed to filter like germs and things, right? And certain things like that when you're breathing. But when you have that thing in your nose, there's so many germs, like just there's like entering your nose and exiting, like, and it's just stuck there. That's so disgusting. I know people are not keeping that thing sanitary. Anyway,
I also can't
I said my piece.
Speak accurately to every kind of sport and the different things that go into it. So I really think in these instances, the decisions are best left up to the professional governing bodies that dictate these particular sports.
I just feel like in place.
She started off wrong. She said, I just feel like. I don't understand. If you can't start an argument or a debate or a response with I feel like. Debate 101, you have to go by what you know, or what's factual, what's out there. People have to stop saying those words. I feel like. I go deaf ear immediately after that. It's not about your personal feelings. It's about what is actual true or what's not, or what's the consensus. Not about your personal feelings.
Places, as an ally in places where there's no understanding, we can just respect and not really, like, our opinions don't fucking matter.
Eli, I saw you nodding your head over there.
Ooh,
Several times. This is more than about sports.
Did she say Eli? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I think that's a trans woman. Okay. I will stand corrected, because I was a little confused for a second. Eli, I was like, that's a guy's name, but never mind.
This is about free and equal participation for transgender people in social life. And the right sees this as a socially acceptable way to begin to remove trans people from different engagements in our society. So it does just start with sports or bathrooms or locker rooms, something that they find is more acceptable. And then at this point, they started to move into education, getting trans teachers fired, banning trans books. This is a route that is...
Okay. This is a huge problem that I've been noticing, especially here in the West. You're gonna be canceled for something that goes against what their ideology is. If I want to be a traditional man, I want to be a masculine man, I want to pay the bills, be a provider, take care of my family, be a protector, be strong, work out, galvanize the troops, and help my fellow man, and then also trying to tell them to protect their families as well, be something of value to not just your peers but your family as well, and what a woman's role is and what a man's role is in an intersexual dynamic or whatever, or in society. If you go against anything of the grain of what they believe in, you're going to be canceled, or they see you as like you just don't exist, or you're going to be a transphobe. They're going to call you all kinds of types of names. Insert shame here, right? Insert the negative term, a negative word here that they're going to define you as. Misogynist, whatever, chauvinist. I don't understand. And then like those words have specific meanings. They use words to create reality in their own mind. You can't use words to create reality. That's not how that works. And they always blame things like on the right. But people keep forgetting that all of this boils down to is just basic biology of why things work the way they do. You can't change biological hardwiring in the States. And what she specifically is saying, that the right is doing this and doing that, it's always like a pointing fingers at something, removing trans books, and then like removing teachers like from schools that are trans. And I'm just gonna be honest, if I have children, I don't want to be, like I said, if I say this, I'll be canceled, but I have to say it. I don't want my kids going to school and learning these things and like being indoctrinated. Like, I think I'm scared. I would rather have my children learn from me. If they go to public school, well, if I go to a PA meeting, right? Whatever, and they're telling me the curriculum they're going to teach my kids, and I see gender, was it gender theories? I think that's what they're teaching these kids now. I don't want my son or my daughter to come home and tell me that they're opposite of what the teacher is telling them. I'm like, no, son, you're a boy. No, honey, you're a girl. And they're like, well, I didn't choose this. Who's telling you this? And then their teacher's telling them this. I'm like, I don't want them learning this stuff because that's not right. To me. And what's crazy about that is if I say that, like, it's like it goes against what they believe in, and then I'm wrong for that. I'm not wrong. And then I'll be called all these kind of names. I'm like, but it's my personal preference of how the hell I want to teach my kids how to be. Just because you're a certain way, I'm not judging you if you want to be a lamp. Like, I'll give you that, whatever his pronouns, whatever you want to be called. That's fine. I want to be a spatula today. I don't give a damn. But do not force me to accept what you believe in. That's not right. Americans have rights to do whatever they want, as long as in accordance with the law. But you're not going to have me accept what you believe in. I'm just not going to do that. I don't have to do that. But if I go against what they believe, then I'll be called all these shame tactics. Well, the shame tactics come in, and I'm called all these fucking names. Let's continue.
Is very effective because it's seen as more acceptable. But it's also overlooking a lot of major details. Like, I mean, do y'all know how many trans women have won national titles?
One too many.
One. It's
many.
Leah Thomas is the only one.
One too many.
If one too many?
If women's sports were actually going
Yo, Pearl is a G. She's like straight, like just being a troll is hilarious. I love her content though. Shout out to Pearl.
to end in some way, I mean, it's just not happening. Wouldn't you think there would be more trans women in sports when the majority of states do allow trans women full participation? International titles, 0. No global titles have ever been won by a trans woman.
I want to
Based
move
on
on
our
to a different
background.
topic. I want to talk about Me Too and sort of this social movement that we're living through right now. What
All right, here we go.
is the state of feminism sort of in this post-Me Too era?
Insert triggering right here.
We're in post Me Too.
All right.
Tell me.
Sorry, I got distracted by the Me Too part. So I was like, we're in post Me Too? Wow, like, no one's getting like sexually harassed anymore. Like, oof. We did it, guys. We solved the
Right?
problem.
I want that world.
No, I
I don't want to say what I want to say. I'll let the comment section handle that right there. Baby girl, I would not even want to harass you. I'm sorry.
I think obviously the state of feminism is very much reflected right in this room. But Me Too for me, right, in a particular context means something for different people. It's a different experience for different people. In my culture and in my community, we're still working through that. There is no post Me Too, right? We're still working through how do we have these tough conversations? How do we teach not just, women, but everyone about consent. What does consent look like? What does that look like in our community? What does that not look like, right? All those things that I think it's still very complicated. But I think it starts at the level of community, right? Of like, how do we have these conversations around consent?
Sydney, I saw your hand up.
All right. This whole fucking thing with consent is a gray area, a big gray area. I know most of the world is usually black and white, but I'm sorry, consent is gray. And the reason why I say that is because you're at a club, right? Say that girl goes out. She said that her community's having an issue with it, right? With consent and her community understanding it. Okay, well, say you go out to the club, shorty, and you see, Tyrone coming in or the Dominican, the chulo papi coming in, and spitting that game to you in your ear, and you've had a couple of drinks. Okay, and then at that point, it kind of hurts your ability to like really make rational decisions, right? And have rational thought. And you feel this guy. He ticks all your boxes. And then, you're letting him do things and you guys having a good time. And, say you go back to his place or your place, or whatever, and you do the do. And everything was good, like a handshake. Next morning, she wakes up from, most likely being inebriated. Maybe he was too. And then she feels a certain type of way. And even though it seemed like the night was going good with whatever they were doing, she wakes up the next morning and it feels like awful because maybe he left. He didn't give her his number. She say she remembered his name, but he didn't leave a number. Well, now she's gonna like consider that as some kind of grape. They can, just because they feel a certain type of way, because maybe they were treated. Women don't want to feel like you took something from them, especially when you have sex with them. None of those women on that panel are virgins. None of them. And I know they have probably multiple partners in their lifetime, their lifespan. Okay. They didn't do that to those other guys, but you do it to this guy because now you feel some type of way. What about all the other damn times? I mean, you're going to sit here and tell me you have not taken a guy home from a club. I don't know, man. I just don't believe that. That's just a whole gray area to me. I just honestly, to me, man, just avoid women when you go to clubs, and just, if they're drunk, just step away. Leave them alone. You never know what could happen to you, man. You can lose your entire livelihood over you hurting a woman's feelings because you have sex with her, you have a one night stand, and you roll out, you slide. You know what I'm saying? You Audi 1000 on her ass, and say you don't call her back. You got okay. It's like they treat sex as like this overloaded thing, as it's like you took that from them, and now they can't get nothing in return from you because you left, you ghosted her. But I mean, okay, you got pleasure too, though. But you didn't say no or anything like that when we were together because you were feeling me, we were having a good time, and then we did the do, and then what's wrong with that? Like I said, man, at any point they can feel some type of way and turn that shit against you, no matter if she wanted it. She can. I'm not gonna say the L word, like lie, but they'll do it.
So when the Me Too thing was unfolding, I was initially like, great, I love the idea of women being able to speak out. What's been really disappointing, I suppose, for me, post-Me Too, as we're calling it, is that, and especially as someone who's sort of on the right wing of politics, I think that a lot of the experiences of women on the
Yo, I like how like slick Vice is. They literally just zoomed in on that guy's face and just like he just couldn't stand that shit. Yo, he's salty as fuck.
right get a bit trivialized because there is a lot of politicizing of sexual assault. So when something legitimately happens on our side of the table and someone tries to speak up about it, there's almost an automatic disbelief. And I understand why. It's because of the believe all women type of stuff that came out of the Me Too movement, that a lot of us were like, wait a minute, no, people do use these situations for gain. People do make things up. People do lie. But it is sad to watch it happen. It makes me sad that we're here.
Jordan?
I feel like there'll never be a post-Me Too because at the heart of it, Me Too is just a phrase. The spirit of what Me Too represented will always be relevant, and that is that you are empowering individual women to advocate for themselves and speak out when they feel like they're being wrong. Ideally.
Wow. Did y'all catch? I gotta rewind that. Hell no.
Advocate for themselves and speak out when they feel like they're being wrong.
speak out when they feel like they're being wronged. When they feel like they're being wronged. Yo, so what if I want to? Okay, let's use it. Let's literally use that fucking logic. If I sit here and say if I'm, divorce. Okay, I'm in divorce court, and the judge grants, say, a spouse some alimony, child support, and certain things, right? Okay, at that point, I feel like I'm being wronged, so I want to go. Can I complain about it? I'm like, hey, she's stealing from me. Like, this is BS. Like, blah 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 blah. I don't agree with this. I'm losing my livelihood because now I'm going to struggle to like pay my own bills while also supporting her, and she can go with another man that can also take care of her. That's wrong. That's wrong on my end. I feel wronged, but I can't speak up about that, and there are no rights for that. That is just totally insane. A man's life will be ruined just because a woman feels a certain type of way. Man, you got to really protect yourselves. I'm telling you, that one moment you do not make a woman happy, she has trauma, her emotions are in play. I'm telling you, man, a lot of logic goes out the window. There's no reasoning with it most times. You just got to walk away and just let things be. You got to find women that are more based, like this chick right here. I think she's from Texas. I actually like her. She's good.
Ideally, you're just trying to be the most transparent and self-accountable person you can be, and you need to hit all.
How are you accountable if you feel like you're wronged? That doesn't make sense to me. If you feel like you're wronged, how are you accountable? Because you also did something too for something to be initiated for you to get to that point. Like, I don't understand. It's not always on the other person. Whatever.
All of those fronts, if you want it to last on a cultural level.
How about beauty standards? We talked a little bit about this. This got brought up at the beginning. How does that tie into femininity?
Sorry, I'm very into this idea because I do think it is one of the larger intersections that just doesn't get very discussed, which is, like I was talking about before, barriers and friction are placed up around bodies. And the fatter I get, the older I get, the less people will listen to me, the less value I will have for society. So, I'm already starting out as a woman with no legs. If I had something on my face, I have my beauty. That's one of my privileges. I have my whiteness. That's one of my privileges. I used to have thinness, and now I'm getting fatter. Things are changing. And I think every single time.
The fuck? Run that back one more time, shorty. DJ, drop that track one more again. The hell she say?
Listen to me, the less value I will have for society. So, I'm already starting out as a woman with no legs. If I had something on my face, I have my beauty. That's one of my privileges. I have my whiteness. That's one of my privileges. I used to have thinness, and now I'm getting fatter. Things are changing. And I think every single time that we talk about feminism, pretty privilege should be discussed because we have these ideas. If your skin tone is this, if your hair is this, if your body looks like that, it's about whether or not you are given an equal opportunity based on what you look like.
I saw
I'm starting to notice this a lot, especially on like YouTube and other social media platforms. The women I mostly see complaining about, like, beauty standards and all this and all this other kind of stuff is they blame men and like how men are hateful towards women who are thick or overweight and like love my curves and all these things, but men are going their own way. They're incels. I always notice that it's always unattractive women who are mostly complaining about this kind of stuff. I never see a pretty girl. Like, that's maybe, I'm saying pretty as in like average to cute, that are in like a somewhat like good proportion. I'm not saying like overweight or anything like obese, but a good proportion size girl. Like, a 5 is average, 6 is cute. There's nothing wrong with 6. And because a lot of people are around there, are average to cute. A lot of people are average. So I don't understand. I always see the unattractive women being upset, or women who are overweight or obese complaining about these things. Why? Just improve. But then they don't want to improve. They just want to complain and have an echo chamber of other women and people to feed them this rhetoric that their ideology and how they think and their mentality is correct. No. If you see a certain woman that looks very attractive, you see men going up to her that want to date her, the ones that are getting married, things like that, very beautiful, feminine. How about you try to do things that she's doing to get the results that you want if you're not getting that attention anymore? And then like they blame us for like, we're ageist and all that kind of stuff. Like ageism is a thing, and men are misogynists because they don't want to talk to, they hate older women and all these kind of things. I'm like, oh my God, none of this makes any sense. Men aren't going their own way because, or men are not rejecting women because of this, or like not talking to women because of these things. It's mostly because women just aren't ladies anymore. They're not feminine. They're very domineering. They talk a lot. They want to dominate a conversation. They want to talk over you. They want to argue with you. They don't want to do feminine things. Well, what's funny, I still have to do my male masculine traditional role in the house and court you, pay bills, pay the dinner dates and all these things. I'm like, yo, that's a bad deal on my end if I gotta take care of you and you ain't doing anything for me in return. I don't understand that. You don't like kids. You think you have some kind of privilege because of your skin, or you're upset at the kind of woman that we choose, or no, we choose women in a certain way because it's in our biology to want a woman who has these things, like, oh, she's somewhat cute, attractive, pretty, she's somewhat in shape, has long hair, because it looks as if that woman is fertile to us. And with the youth, what is wrong with that? Because we all know that at a certain age, women start to lose their eggs at about 80 to 90% at age 30 or plus. That's a fact, though. That's not, but it's in high risk pregnancy in the mid 30s, geriatric pregnancy, 40 plus, 42 years old. And doctors can tell you this as well. I'm not just some guy randomly sitting here spewing off BS. These are true things. These are facts. I don't know why people try to fight biology so much. It's just insane to me. Like, these people are kind of like, something's wrong with them, man. It's just bot mentality.
I think a lot of times the women that complain about beauty standards don't complain about them when they got privilege, when they were young and attractive and thin. So it's like, yeah, you're complaining when the privilege is gone, but privilege is invisible to those who have it. And women, it's a privilege. And men don't turn 18 and get looks that we get.
Hell no. You born as a man.
As many of you know,
you're born as a man, you are screwed. You're done for. That's it. I'm telling you, man. You got to build yourself, learn game, learn frame, learn how to be a man. You got to learn how to take care of a family, take care of yourself, for one. Finances, learn how to chase skills. Oh, man. Go out there and run yourself into the ground as many times as you can just to get back up so you can learn from life experiences from knocking you down so much. Because as a man, bro, you cannot sit here and afford to think like these women because you won't have anything and no one's coming to save a man. I'm sorry. Because I'll put this on you right now. If a man don't pay child support, he literally goes to jail. But if a woman don't have a job and she can't pay anything, she can go to the government and get assistance. That's crazy. I can't do that. They'll put a woman in assisted living, Section 8, WIC, and all this kind of stuff before they actually do me like that. If I don't pay child support, I'll go to jail. But if they don't do it, they can go to government assisting. When I go to work, I'm still paying taxes for it and still paying her money. Wow.